Well, first of all, I'm delighted to say that listeners to BBC Radio Manchester joined us at some stage during that Champions League anthem. And I want you to know this, we're with you all the way, folks. I assume there aren't United fans listening to the station tonight cheering on City. We're cheering on City. I don't think the Manchester City fans in the far right-hand corner were exactly cheering during that Champions League anthem, but they're too far away to judge properly how they responded to it. These are the two teams. First of all, Paris Saint-Germain. The goalkeeper is trapped, the German, who was on the bench against England in Berlin. Then the back four, slightly altered tonight, Aurier from Ivory Coast. Then the three Brazilians, Thiago Silva, David Luiz and Maxwell. Then we've got in midfield Rabiot, who spent a short time at the Manchester City Academy, Motta and Matuidi, and finally Cavani, Ibrahimovic and Di Maria. Joe Hart well remembers facing Ibrahimovic before. He was in the England goal 4 years ago in Stockholm when Ibrahimovic scored 4 times in that friendly. Hart plays tonight. The back four is Sagna, Otamendi, Mangala and Clichy. Then it's Fernando and Fernandinho. Then it's Navas, De Bruyne and Silva. And finally Aguero. City are in their away strip of a vivid green, let's say, lime green, and they'll kick off. And Danny Mills, do you think De Bruyne is going to play in a central position behind Aguero?
Normally City play 4-4-2, even in Europe. I think Navas is going to clearly play wide on the right, as he always does. I think they might be interchangeable. They might be fluid at times. David Silva is not going to stick out wide. De Bruyne might drift out to the left-hand side, and I think they'll interchange at times. But they're just going to be careful down that right-hand side, or down their left-hand side, if they don't get caught out and Clichy doesn't get exposed 2-on-1.
The referee tonight is the Serbian Milorad Mazic, who was also the referee in Wolfsburg. Oh, Aguero just been pulled back by David Luiz, and that's a yellow card within 14 seconds, and wholly deserved. And as a consequence, David Luiz is suspended for the second leg of this quarter-final.
Unbelievable decision by David Luiz, unnecessary. It was just a hopeful ball over the top, in behind, and he just wrestles him to the ground, and I think that was the worry at Chelsea with David Luiz. Got himself in the wrong side of Sergio Aguero, who was in behind, and just hauled him to the floor. And City now have a fantastic opportunity with De Bruyne to whip this free kick into a really dangerous area.
Daft, but welcome from David Luiz from a City perspective. So the free kick is just a couple of yards to the right of the penalty area. The Belgian De Bruyne is going to take it. City have 5 players waiting for his delivery. The referee is still talking to one of the
he's just telling about his arms, Alan. He's just saying, make sure you keep your arms down. Any arm goes up and it hits your hand, I'm going to give handball.
And it would be a penalty, of course. Well, here's De Bruyne, right-footed, swings it in, glancing header away by Ibrahimovic, and it's being chased by Navas. Navas hooks the ball over his right shoulder, headed clear by David Luiz, but collected by De Bruyne. De Bruyne on, and De Bruyne takes it up from Navas again. De Bruyne shoots left-footed, but it was always rising. It's over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick to Paris Saint-Germain.
A little bit ambitious from De Bruyne, 25, 30 yards out, centre of the goal, was always rising, but City now have a great opportunity. Every chance Aguero gets, he's got to run at David Luiz, knock the ball past him, make him make awkward decisions. You know, can they get him another yellow card, get him down to 10 men?
Does he pull him down? Does he let him go? Consequences would be severe either way for David Luiz. Manchester City here in Paris. It's hooked forward by Clichy. Aguero collects it brilliantly. Aguero now halfway inside the French half. Aguero approaching the penalty area, finds Navas down the right. He's supported by Sagna, and Sagna, the Frenchman, plays it back, and now it's with Fernando. This is a good start for Manchester City. Fernandinho, the other Brazilian, in the holding position. Now it deflects forward into good position. Navas into the penalty area, pulls it back, and it's knocked behind for a corner by Motta.
Brilliant opportunity for Navas, but yet again, how many times do we always say Navas in a good position, has got time and space, doesn't pick out a bright yellow shirt, picks out the Paris Saint-Germain defender.
Really encouraging start from Manchester City. Corner from this near side there, right in the first half. De Bruyne plays it, right-footed, hooked high, just a little too high for his colleagues inside the penalty area, and now it's being run clear by the Ivory Coast international, Aurier, but his pass forward intercepted before it can reach Di Maria, and it's knocked back in to the Paris Saint-Germain half. It's with Rabiot. I think he spent 4 months at Manchester City. His mother didn't like it, so pulled him out of it. His mother still doesn't like things. She's agitating for a move away from Paris Saint-Germain.
Manchester, Paris, not too much difference, is there, Alan?
Manchester much the superior city. Now Paris Saint-Germain in possession on the halfway line. It's with Thiago Motta onto the far side, and the captain Thiago Silva. Now Aurier up from right back. Aurier from that right flank swings the cross in, and it's cleared on the volley by Otamendi, left-footed, knocked back deep into the City half, but now it's played away, and then Silva was a little loose with that pass towards De Bruyne, and the French club have it back. 4 minutes gone. Bright 4 minutes here in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0. You're listening to 5 Live and Radio Manchester on the BBC.
Manchester City's defensive formation worries me.
Here's Abramovich playing it in towards Di Maria, but intercepted by Mangala, and it's cleared by Manchester City towards De Bruyne, who's certainly in a forward role, now out towards Silva on the far side of the field, intercepted by Thiago Silva at the expense of a throw into City.
City's defensive formation is 4-4-2, with David Silva out on the left hand side. Kevin De Bruyne is playing as a centre forward, isn't he?
He is.
You know,
extraordinary.
He's playing alongside Sergio Aguero, and at times he's been the highest man up the pitch so far.
It's Fernandinho tackled, and he wins another throw, and this one's across the halfway line, and the throw goes from Clichy to Fernandinho, back to Mangala, and now Otamendi. And Otamendi with a swift pass forward, but it was easily cleared. Here's Abramovich. Abramovich passes behind Di Maria, and Clichy clears, and here's David Silva now for Manchester City. Goodness, it's so open, Danny.
I mean, City have made a very intense start to the game, putting PSG under all sorts of pressure. There's a lot of adrenaline flowing out there. Just need to calm down all the players. Need those central midfield players just to get their feet on the ball, just play a few sideways passes, just give everyone a little bit of a breather, get a second wind. Everyone
bar Mangala is inside the French half for Manchester City. It's played towards De Bruyne, and across comes David Luiz. That's gone behind for a corner. Oh, we haven't really seen Paris Saint-Germain in an attacking phase at the moment. It's been all Manchester City. City, who've won 3 of 4 away games in the Champions League this season. The only defeat was at Juventus. De Bruyne to take the corner once more from the right hand side. There it goes. That's swirling out, and it was almost deflected on successfully by City, but cleared finally by Paris Saint-Germain. Otamendi meets it with his forehead, heading it back, and then that's a good header down by Di Maria. Here's Cavani plays it through. Here's a great opportunity for Paris Saint-Germain. Out comes Joe Hart. Was that
no,
a suggestion that it was a foul tackle?
No, it's not, Alan. No, not for me.
Broke through.
It was a great opportunity. Cavani released Matuidi, who looked certain to get a shot off, but I think it was Fernando that got back for Fernandinho.
Back come Manchester City in an attacking sense. David Silva on to Navas. Silva once more, and then the shot wafted high by Fernandinho behind for a goal kick.
Definitely not a penalty in my eyes. City got caught out on the counter-attack. Great ball from Cavani, brilliant run. Sorry, it was Mangala that got back, used his pace. I think he got his foot on the ball. After that, there was a collision. Well, I haven't seen the replay in super slow motion. Not sure he got too much of the ball, but it was very, very difficult to see in real time. The way the ball moved, the way the ball moved to the side, and the angle that Mangala came in, I don't think the referee had any chance of seeing that, and if he's not 100% certain, he can't give that as a penalty.
By the way, I wasn't conscious of it, but talking so much in the build-up to the game about money in the game, I think I called Ibrahimovic Abramovich at least once there.
He's only a pound or two behind him, don't worry.
Well, he only wants, what is it, 500,000 a week, if anybody's prepared to pay to bring the Swede to English football.
That's even more than you, Alan.
Just a tad more. I haven't earned that in my lifetime. Anyway, here's David Luiz, who's earned a few quid himself. Loose ball forward from him, and it comes out off Navas for a throw-in on the halfway line to Paris Saint-Germain.
What do you think City have got away with one? Because in real time,
I wasn't sure, but here's Di Maria forward. Di Maria then shoots hurriedly, but it's across the face of goal. That's going out of play for a throw-in.
On reflection, of City got away with one, because in real time, I thought no chance of a penalty. You know, the angle of that the ball moved, the challenge came in from Mangala, who got back with great pace. Slow motion replay, super slow motion replay, shows he didn't get any contact on the ball, and he did make contact with Matuidi.
I just winced.
I don't think the referee can see that in real time, though. That it was at such speed, at such pace, and because the ball moved sideways, it certainly looked from the angle that we had, even on the first replay, that Mangala got a touch on the ball.
I certainly wasn't certain of it, Danny. I'll say that. I was just worried at the incident.
Well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck in this game.
Manchester City have the ball again, or at least had the ball inside the French half. Paris Saint-Germain won it back, but it's carelessly headed out of play. I like to see these unforced mistakes from the French champions. Throw in to Manchester City in the far side of the field. They're left in the first half. Another Frenchman in the Manchester City lineup. Clichy takes it. The throw goes along that line towards Aguero, but Aguero can't collect it, and it's back now to trap the German goalkeeper for Paris Saint-Germain. He clears it towards the near side. Played infield. Here's Rabiot, and on it comes, and it's going towards the left flank, perhaps towards Maxwell. Not yet. It won't. It's with Motta to Rabiot again, and Rabiot chips it to the right side. Aurier infield. This is better from Paris Saint-Germain now. Rabiot, who could easily be playing in Manchester City strip tonight. Back to Motta, and they're slowing things down. It's with Ibrahimovic. Paris Saint-Germain, more assured from the French team. Aurier once more on the far flank, level with the edge of the Manchester City penalty area. Oh, he was caught there by Clichy. It's definitely going to be a free kick, and I'm just wondering if that's going to be another yellow card. No, he's not reaching for his pocket. Oh, he does now. Clichy's booked.
Well, you have to say Clichy did come in very, very late, and if he's going to book David Luiz for a little pullback, he's got to book Gaël Clichy for that unnecessary challenge out wide. Aurier gave the ball, he made a meal of it, yes, but any opportunity, players are going to go down. They're going to try and get the opposition yellow cards.
The only Manchester City player who started the game tonight who would be suspended from the second game if he was booked is Otamendi. But there are four in the Paris Saint-Germain lineup, and one of them, David Luiz, he's already been booked and he's suspended for the game at the Etihad. 0-0, Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City. Nearly 12 minutes gone here in Paris. The free kick's away on the far side of the field. The rain that was pouring down before kickoff has relented. It's driven in low, and then it's hooked high. Out comes Joe Hart, punches clear, and it should be played in again. But that's a great volley cross into the penalty area. Oh, David Luiz goes down. Oh, he's given a penalty, has it? Oh no, surely not. He's given a penalty. I thought he threw himself down there, David Luiz.
There was contact. Definitely was contact. How much? Really need to see the replay. It was certainly theatrical. It was a poor touch in the first place that allowed the mistake. Sagna diving in. Just watching the replay now. David Luiz shifts the ball. I think David Luiz, for me, initiates the contact. David Luiz puts his legs into Sagna, not the other way around. It was a poor touch from Sagna in the first place. But now, well, Zlatan against Joe Hart. Joe Hart's just gone behind the goal, trying to take as long as possible Can't believe he's trying to out-psych Zlatan.
I'm sure he is, and I hope it works. Penalty kick to Paris Saint-Germain. It came out of nothing, really.
It was a great ball in from the far side, but then it was Sanya's poor touch. You've got to defend properly, just clear your lines sometimes.
4 goals for Ibrahimovic in his last 4 Champions League games. Is at a 5th in successive Champions League fixtures. Joe Hart crouching on his line. The Swede's going to head it right-footed. 13 minutes gone. Great save from Hart. Diving to his right. Strong arm. Pushes it wide. And it's only a corner.
Well, I tell you what, you don't see that very often. Wasn't a bad penalty. Wasn't a great penalty. What a brilliant save from Joe Hart. Guessed right. Strong right hand. Fit or not, doesn't matter. Could be the hero this evening.
Di Maria's corner from the left. Played in very deep beyond David Luiz. And Manchester City, having survived that substantial scare, conceding a penalty, saved by Hart from Ibrahimovic.
I think justice was done. Maybe the referee got a word from somebody to say perhaps the foul by Mangala on Matuidi.
Here's Ibrahimovic again, collecting the pass forward by Cavani. Ibrahimovic spins, shoots at goal, blocked by the defence. Paris Saint-Germain though on the top for the moment. Played in, Ibrahimovic with a header, saved by Hart.
Ibrahimovic, Di Maria were both free at the far post.
Defending.
Otamendi's nowhere to be seen. Sanya is nowhere to be seen. They got away with a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. Sanya's feet were planted, and I think David Luiz initiated the contact. It was a magnificent save. I just wonder if the referee had got word from somebody that maybe the possible foul by Mangala was a penalty, and he had the opportunity with a soft one to give the second one.
Possibly. Either way, it was a penalty awarded and it wasn't executed. It's 0-0 here in Paris. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester, and it's been quite a game, even though it awaits the first goal.
Phenomenal intensity, great pace that the game is being played at.
Here's Silva. Manchester City certainly haven't come to defend, and sometimes when you see the way they defend, you're relieved about that. Here's Ibrahimovic inside the centre circle. Back now to Rabiot, and now Motta plays it towards the left side towards Maxwell. Back to Motta, and Motta on upfield over the halfway line, taken up by Di Maria. Matuidi is to his left. Matuidi captained France in the last international fixture. That's because Lloris, the Tottenham and French captain, was absent.
I think he's a very good player. Really good energy, good quality, likes to get forward as well.
Here's David Luiz. David Luiz flicks the ball towards the left hand side, and then it comes back from Maxwell. Both coaches are standing prominently in their technical areas. I'm sure Pellegrini almost shut his eyes at the occasion of the Paris Saint-Germain penalty. If he did, he wouldn't have seen the great save by Joe Hart. Hart back foot again for Manchester City. Now, here's Fernando to Silva. Silva in the centre circle. Silva running away. Finds Aguero with the pass. Aguero had come deep. Plays it back. And now it's with Fernando to Fernandinho. And on to David Silva, who pops up in the inside right channel for the moment. Back to Fernandinho. Quieter controlling spell from Manchester City now. Now Navas plays it on towards Sanya, ahead of Sanya. And Sanya, in his anxiety to get to the ball, committed a foul, and it's a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain.
Just put his hand in the back of Maxwell as he tried to go forward. But just seen the save again. Joe Hart, one step forward off his line. Brilliant save. Strong right arm.
Maybe he did psych out the Swede.
Well, possibly. I'm not sure it'll affect his confidence too much. Might just make him that little bit angrier. But at the moment, City are doing well without troubling the goalkeeper.
Hopefully that's still to come. Throw in taken by Clichy on the far side of the field. To Silva, back to Clichy, and Clichy's won another throw, but this time it's inside the French half, about 10 yards over the halfway line. It's 1-0 to Wolfsburg at home to Real Madrid. Rodriguez has put Wolfsburg in front
from the penalty spot as well.
Goodness gracious. Well, it was tight last night in the two games, wasn't it?
Wolfsburg are a better team than people give them credit for.
Here's Thiago Silva, the captain of Paris Saint-Germain. 0-0 here in Paris. We played 18 frenetic minutes. Rabiot squanders possession again.
Sorry, Alan. City are doing very, very well, harrying and hustling.
Here's De Bruyne from the Manchester City throw and into the penalty area. Lays it low, hoping that Navas could get on the end of it. It was cleared by Maxwell. And now on the far side of the field, it's Cavani playing it back, and now forward it goes to Ibrahimovic. Well, Rabiot almost lost possession again there, but he was lucky the ball squirted back to David Luiz.
PSG will rarely face an opposition like this that will put them under pressure and also have quality on the ball.
Ibrahimovic pops up everywhere, doesn't he? You know, he's not one of these sort of sulking strikers who lurks around the penalty. He comes deep, as he is now. He plays it forward to Matuidi. Matuidi lost his footing, lost control of the ball, and Manchester City cleared up to the halfway line, where David Luiz outthinks Aguero, hopefully for the last time this evening. It's played back though by Sagna. David Luiz crouched down there. Aguero had raised his foot, anticipation of meeting the ball. Referee adjudged that was worthy of a free kick against Aguero. 20 minutes gone, and it hasn't slowed down really. And that's a pass intercepted by Clichy, I think. Unfortunately for him, he just ran the ball over the far touchline. He has, and it's going to be a throw into Paris Saint-Germain.
City's intensity have been very impressive so far. Just need a little bit more quality when they get in the final third. Navas has had a couple of chances to put balls in the box. De Bruyne also, and they haven't picked the right pass.
Rabiot inside the centre circle, and he's got Ibrahimovic just to his left, and on to Matuidi. Cavani, Ibrahimovic once more, and a sudden injection of speed, but then he loses it, and De Bruyne collects it. Aguero runs with two defenders. Silva's down the inside left channel, arm aloft, hoping that Navas swings it in. Silva's there, heads it wide.
If that was Aguero, 1-0. Head in, not David Silva's strong point. For once, a really good ball in from Jesus Navas. It was Fernando that broke the play up in the middle of the pitch. De Bruyne then picked it up, travelled. Early cross from Navas. In all fairness, maybe it was just a touch behind David Silva. Almost just had to check his run. Arches back, maybe a little bit too much, but still a really good opportunity. Should have hit the target.
Good chance. And I'm being told that Joe Hart's the only goalkeeper to have saved two penalties in this Champions League season. He faced two, saved two.
City have done quite well from penalties this season, haven't they? Willie Caballero's not bad.
Yes. Here's Ibrahimovic. It's a good game, even though at the moment it's goalless. Now Maxwell down this near flank, the left for Paris Saint-Germain. Matuidi back to Ibrahimovic, about 35 yards out, and he anticipated a colleague running into the City penalty area. That was Cavani. Cavani hadn't run in, and the ball's back with Joe Hart. 21 minutes gone. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0. Don't forget at 5 Live tomorrow night. The whole of the programme from 7 o'clock comes from Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund against Liverpool in the quarter-final of the Europa League. That competition rejuvenated, Danny, because if you win it, you qualify for the Champions League.
Well, quite possibly a route into the Champions League for Liverpool.
It'd be their only route.
It's clearly not going to happen in the league. A glorious opportunity, and who knows? You know, Jurgen Klopp, you beat Dortmund, every chance going on to win it.
Silva to Aurier on the far side of the field. Back to Silva. For once, the game's almost down to walking pace. David Luiz to Matuidi, and on to Maxwell, the Brazilian left back. Matuidi again. Nice 1-2 with Cavani into Rabiot, and Rabiot ahead of the centre circle to Ibrahimovic, who dropped deep again. And that's a problem. Who picks him up when he drops so deep? But they squander possession, Paris Saint-Germain, and that's a good touch by De Bruyne. And it's run forward now by Fernando over the halfway line. He's got Navas to his right. He plays it to Navas, and Navas cuts in field, plays it to Aguero. Aguero back now to Sagna, and Sagna stands still for the moment. Then Again, good movement from Navas, taken up by Aguero. Aguero running forward, goes past two Paris Saint-Germain defenders. Aguero crosses awkwardly as he slipped, but it was also an awkward clearance for Thiago Silva, and it's finally put out of play by David Luiz. Throw into City.
Sergio Aguero just slipped and kicked it onto his left foot, and that's just what took the pace off the ball and looped it up. We've just been handed a statistic from Phil, our producer. Joe Hart has saved 6 of the last 11 penalties that he's faced for club and country. That's a phenomenal record.
Ain't bad, is it? Mangala chips the ball towards the right side, but it was a telegraph pass. It was intercepted by Maxwell, and now it's back to another Brazilian, Thiago Silva.
I don't want to wish this on Manchester City, but there's part of me that wants PSG to get another penalty to see if Zlatan's got to take another one.
Well, I suspect this man is arrogant in the extreme. He would take it, but he might have a doubt in his mind. No, he's going to transit the ball right forward. He's onside. Ibrahimovic curls it over the crossbar. What a bad miss! But the advance of Joe Hart quickly out of goal put him off. No question. But it should be 1-0 to Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, if you're going to win a competition, you've certainly got to ride your luck. City have done that. Otamendi, absolutely criminal, came out from defence on the halfway line into their opposition's half, gave the ball a gaping hole at the back. Nobody had covered round. Zlatan one-on-one with the goalkeeper, blazed it over the bar.
Here's Cavani, Matuidi onto Ibrahimovic inside the penalty area, and Ibrahimovic backheels the ball, backheeled again by Matuidi in the direction of Di Maria, but cleared by Manchester City. Here's Maxwell. This is a much better spell for Paris Saint-Germain, and you can hear the reaction of the crowd. They know it. It's back with Thiago Silva. It's still Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0 on Radio Manchester and BBC 5 Live. Now Di Maria. Di Maria taps it towards Aurier, up from right back. He was hustled by Clichy and it was cleared by Mangala, and now it's hit forward by Otamendi over the halfway line, and David Luiz glances the header back to his goalkeeper trap. Maxwell, the left back for Paris Saint-Germain, to Matuidi. He's heavily involved, isn't he? He's good and he's quick. Here he is again. Matuidi onto Maxwell. Back to Matuidi on the halfway line. Cavani was alongside him. Now Cavani moves forward. Wolfsburg are now 2-0 up against Real Madrid. Arnold has scored their second goal. I did that game in Germany, Danny, when they beat Manchester United, but I couldn't see this team as somebody who would actually threaten serious progress in the Champions League. They've got 1 foot in the semi-final, and if they get there and Manchester City get there, let's hope the two are drawn together. Here's Aguero, back to De Bruyne, onto Aguero again, just outside the penalty on his left foot, checks, past the defender, taps it on, the referee was looking, it falls to Silva. Silva's attempted cross hits the defender, Thiago Silva, and rebounds for a corner.
Manchester City still trying to find that first shot to test Kevin Trapp in the PSG goal. A lot of pressure, a lot of possession in the final third. I haven't quite created that glorious chance yet. That one header from David Silva that went wide.
Here's the corner, swung in towards Otamendi. Otamendi jumps and heads it down, but it wasn't a powerful header. It bounced once and is through to the goalkeeper. Meantime, there are two Paris Saint-Germain players out, lying on the turf.
Aurier and Thiago Silva. I think it was Otamendi came in with a strong challenge for a header, and they all ended up clashing.
And we can have a bit of a breather. I think they're all right. Just winded. They're okay.
I think they fell awkwardly more than anything else. There wasn't really a clash of heads. But I tell you what, Otamendi was very, very fortunate. Gave the ball away very, very sloppily. A huge gaping hole that was left. Ibrahimovic exploited it, one-on-one with Joe Hart, and put it over the crossbar.
Pellegrini took the break-in play as an opportunity to talk to Fernando. Just, making sure that those two key defensive midfield players, Fernandinho and Fernando, somebody's got to pick up Ibrahimovic when he drops deep. And Cavani does exactly the same. Now it's David Luiz as play resumes over the halfway line, chipping it towards the left-hand side. Maxwell back to Cavani. Look how deep Cavani was, and what a glorious ball to the far side of the field. Oh, Aurier let it bounce. And maybe could have taken it in his stride. He didn't, and as a result decided to play for a throw-in.
That left-hand side for Manchester City is a little bit of a concern for me. David Silva, very, very good going forward, but I mentioned it early on. He's getting stuck in a 4-4-2 position as a wide left midfielder. He's not comfortable. He's not natural out there. He's tucking in, very, very narrow. Aurier wants to exploit that space down the down their right-hand side, and he's getting in far too easily.
0-0 here in Paris. A reminder that in Germany it's Wolfsburg 2, Real Madrid 0. And a reminder of our coverage this week. Dortmund tomorrow night on 5 Live. Borussia Dortmund against Liverpool in the Europa League quarter-final first leg. Our Masters coverage starts properly tomorrow night as well. The first round of the Masters. And of course tomorrow we've got the Grand National meeting starting at Aintree. Huge week of sport.
Doesn't McIlroy tee off about 1 minute past 7 tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's very late. And I'm not sure that he can avoid thinking about how others might have done well starting earlier. You know, he's just got to put the blinkers on, get on with his own game.
Well, he's not played in the par 3 competition. We heard that from Mark Chapman earlier on. He's very, very focused this time around. I hope he just doesn't go out and have a little 5-a-side kickabout like before. He's
already shown he can play the par 3s. He'll hold in 1 in the 16th in a practice round. There's a whole lot of play there, which is why we were talking all this golfing nonsense, so to speak. But I think we're going to have a City throw-in which they give the ball back to Paris Saint-Germain. They do. It's headed out of play by Aguero for a French throw-in, which Maxwell takes to Malta. Back to Maxwell, and now David Luiz. David Luiz hasn't really been tested since picking up that yellow card. No, neither Aguero nor De Bruyne have actually run at him and committed him either to make a challenge or to let the City player go on.
City haven't had enough continuous possession, have they? They've played a little bit on the counter-attack. They haven't really had a chance to get the ball into anybody's feet and run it, David Luiz.
Here's Motta, born in Brazil but plays his international football for Italy. And here's David Luiz, back to the goalkeeper, Trapp, the German. And one of the Brazilian contingent again, Thiago Silva, the captain for Paris Saint-Germain. Half an hour played. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester. And I'm sure the City fans listening on at home will be quite pleased with the way the team has done so far, albeit with their hearts and their minds when that penalty was conceded, which saved by Joe Hart, this man Joe Hart, from Ibrahimovic. Hart with a clearance up to the halfway line, just dropping above the head of Navas, and then Cavani. Good play by Cavani on to Ibrahimovic. Cavani towards Matuidi on the left hand side. Matuidi quick, get to the ball, swings the cross in immediately, too deep, played from his left foot. The header away wasn't great. Rabiot should control it, he doesn't, and he hits it away towards a colleague on the near side, Maxwell, who just about keeps it in play. Rabiot went down as if he'd been clattered. The referee was nearby, didn't think there was anything wrong in it. Good work by Aguero, but not such good work by Fernandinho. He just hurries the ball forward and it was straight through to trap the goalkeeper.
Blaise Matuidi is absolutely rapid. I had thought he had no chance of getting that ball. I thought France have got a decent side, haven't they, for the Euros? You know, him and Conte in the middle of the park. Some energy there.
Thiago Silva of Paris Saint-Germain to Rabiot, and Rabiot being run into a safer position by De Bruyne, but it's a good ball forward by Rabiot, and the pass by Maxwell on by Motta to Cavani, and Cavani goes down. Silva didn't like that decision. I think he thinks that was a dive.
It was accidental, I think, as Cavani just turned in with the outside of his foot. David Silva was sprinting back as quick as possible, slightest of touches, and that's the problem in this day and age. So as soon as you touch somebody, they're going to go down and make the referee make a decision. Might not be right, but it happens, and if I was a manager, I'd be telling my players to do exactly the same.
Joe Hart saved the penalty kick taken by Ibrahimovic. Now here's a free kick. That's a good 30 yards from goal, and the Swede is standing there as if he's going to smack it goalwards again.
Joe Hart must be thinking, come on, you can't beat me from 12 yards, let alone from 32.
But he's going to try it, Ibrahimovic. Nobody else is going to head it, surely. City have got everybody back facing this Swedish free kick, and it hits the wall, and it comes off somebody's bounce, and out of play it goes for a throw-in on the far side of the field. 12 minutes to half time. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0. Wolfsburg are leading Real Madrid 2-0. That scoreline will reverberate around Europe tonight. Champions League quarter-final night. Ball's back inside the centre circle. Now it's played with Maxwell.
You just wonder,
to David Luiz,
Real Madrid, the Clasico, how much did that take out of them? Has that had an effect on them?
Maxwell comes forward, runs away from Navas, finds Cavani. Cavani stabs it towards the left-hand side. Taken up by Di Maria, who's been quite quiet so far. Di Maria tackled and loses the ball. And now Manchester City have it with Fernandinho. Silva shows to the right of the centre circle, takes up possession. Silva moving forward, taps it back now to Navas. Aguero's down the right flank as well. Aguero gets away from Motta, but he ran into Rabiot, and now Rabiot takes it forward, and the tackle comes in from Navas. They're snapping into the challenges, Manchester City, and so far it's working really well. 34 minutes gone, it's still 0-0.
Do you know what? The only one problem I have with Sergio Aguero, I think he's too honest at times. He tries to ride every single challenge. He tries to stay on his feet. He gets nudged, he gets tripped. Because he stays on his feet, the referee doesn't give a foul. I think sometimes maybe he should go down.
Luiz, David Luiz that is, for Thiago Silva. And on to Rabiot, back to Thiago Silva. Now Aurier on the far side of the field. A little bit of room, the right full back for the French champions. Back to Cavani, who's played well tonight. I think Lucas Moura, the player he replaced, is very highly thought of, but there's no doubting Cavani's talent, and he's been linked with the Premier League as much as Ibrahimovic has been linked with the Premier League. Here's David Luiz. Di Maria rolled there as if he was really hurt. He wasn't. Play continues, and now David Luiz rolls, and he gets a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card. A yellow card for Fernando.
David Luiz was certainly looking for it again. He knew the challenge. He did well. He played a clever little 1-2 with Cavani. Fernando made the sliding challenge early. He missed the ball, and then David Luiz just leaves his legs and collides into the defender,
just like David Luiz.
And I don't think it wasn't a penalty when he tried it earlier on. He initiated contact. That time he left his legs in. But Fernando has got to know you can't make sliding tackles and not get a touch on the ball.
It's Di Maria who's going to take this free kick for Paris Saint-Germain.
It might be Ibrahimovic,
25 yards out. The Swedes there as well. And the angle seems better for Di Maria's left foot than Ibrahimovic's right, but we'll see. The Swede will probably dominate the thinking. Referee making sure the City wall is 10 yards back. Here we are, 9 minutes to half time. It's Di Maria's free kick. He appeals for handball in the City wall. Referee will have none of it, and it's cleared by Manchester City over the halfway line. Now it's with Thiago Silva. Considering it's still 0-0, it's been a really good first half in terms of incident.
It's been fabulous.
Ibrahimovic danced away from one challenge of Otamendi, played the ball towards Matuidi, but it was cleared well by Manchester City, and decided to play for a throw-in, taken quickly. Here's Motta, and Motta on to Di Maria. Aurier breaks forward, Di Maria telegraphed the pass, Manchester City intercept, and Fernando taps it back to Clichy. Clichy on to Silva, back to Fernando. That's good work out of defence by Manchester City. Clichy to Silva, this is an excellent move. Now Aguero on the far side of the field, that's the left. Aguero on to Clichy. Clichy chipped the ball into the penalty area, but there was no City player in advanced position in that area, and it's an easy catch for Trapp.
That's one of the problems that Manchester City have. They are getting back, getting bodies, a lot of bodies behind the ball, deep in their own half. When they do get the ball, De Bruyne, Aguero are a little bit isolated up front, and that's why they can't really get any sustained pressure going.
Here's Ibrahimovic inside his own half now, playing it to the left full back Maxwell. We've got a little over 7 minutes left to half time. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Manchester City 0. Rabiot to Matuidi. Matuidi's return pass not good. Here's an opportunity for Fernandinho running forward. Aguero to his left, De Bruyne to his right in the pen there. De Bruyne shoots and it's into the net, and Manchester City take the lead and crucially have an away goal. That's a great counter-attack and a brilliant finish by the Belgian.
Well, we talked about Kevin De Bruyne before the match, a player of real quality. City need him back playing well. First real chance that they've had on goal, touch out of his feet, inside the box, on the angle, smashed it past the goalkeeper. Matuidi, I think, gave the ball away in the middle of the park. Fernando nicked onto it, then Fernandinho broke forward, took his time. David Luiz, poor defending, but a great finish from Kevin De Bruyne. I think City's first shot on target.
We'll take it. An away goal to savour. Now, what will that do to Paris Saint-Germain? De Bruyne with his second Champions League goal of the season. A mighty important Champions League goal. Well, Manuel Pellegrini said he was coming here thinking about winning here. That seemed rather an optimistic thought, considering Paris Saint-Germain's home record. One defeat in 38 European games in Paris, but they're behind tonight to Manchester City. Here's Aurier as the French try to retaliate quickly. Low cross in towards Cavani. A good clearance by Otamendi on the half volley, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the far side of the field. City fans in the far right-hand corner just dancing up and down now, delirious.
I tell you what, I'm sure ex-Manchester City player Michael Brown is in the crowd as well. I think he might have been with his young child. He came up on the monitor just after Kevin De Bruyne scored. He's obviously travelled out here, but I think now it's going to be a lot of one-way traffic, which might suit City. They're going to have to be so focused, concentration 100% for the next 5 minutes of this half and the next 45 minutes. I think from the match point of view, it's going to be all about PSG, their attacking prowess. But again, they might just leave themselves exposed again to the counter-attack.
Well, I have undoubted reservations about the centre of City's defence, and I really hope they prove me wrong now in the remaining minutes of this game. We've got 15 minutes left of the match. Manchester City lead here in Paris by 1-0 scored by De Bruyne.
I'll tell you what, we talked about poor defending earlier on, and Manchester...
Oh, what a mistake! Oh my goodness! Hart played the ball out. Fernando was there, but so too was Ibrahimovic. And what was Fernando trying to do? He tried to hit the ball, not recognising the proximity of the screen. It came off Ibrahimovic. Hart was stranded, and it's 1-1. Catastrophe.
What on earth was Fernando thinking? Joe Hart gives him the ball. He's far too casual. He has a poor first touch. The goal goes down as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who has missed a penalty, missed a clear one-on-one with Joe Hart, and has now got almost a deflection into the back of the net. It was far too casual on the edge of the box. Joe Hart, nothing wrong with doing that. He had time and space, could have easily played the ball one touch, two touch, was sloppy. I was just going to say beforehand, if you get a chance to see David Luiz try to back heel the ball as the ball is played forward from Fernandinho for when Kevin De Bruyne scores, you can't be a centre-back and try and back heel a clearance when you're not facing the ball. And at the other end, Fernando allows them immediately back into the game with a calamitous error.
2 minutes between the goals. Just 2 minutes to savour City's away goal before Paris Saint-Germain equalised. Look, if it finished 1-1, we'd take it, folks. We would definitely take it. It's just, you're just enjoying life in front, and then that happens. And it wasn't a piece of brilliance from the French champions. It was catastrophic play by Fernando.
Fernando's got to be careful not to lose his head. He's just chasing around a little bit at the moment, clearly angry with himself, clearly frustrated. Just got to settle himself down, get his head back in the game. Reminding you that in Germany it's Wolfsburg 2, Real Madrid 0.
here in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Manchester City 1, and we're being listened to by BBC Radio Manchester and 5 Live.
Well, Joe Hart was clearly winning the battle against Zlatan this evening. Saved the penalty, did enough to put him off for the one-on-one, clean throw-on goal, and then a mistake like that. It was sloppy play. Fernando, he had time, he had space, his first touch was appalling, and then to try and flick a pass with the outside of your right foot when you're being closed down on the edge of your box, it's criminal.
Navas loses the ball. Rabiot for Paris Saint-Germain. Back it goes to Mota. Mota turns away from De Bruyne. And I just hope Manchester City aren't deflated by this. They've done really well so far. But now pegged back at 1-1. Navas into Silva. Silva holds off David Luiz. Beats David Luiz. Silva turns, running towards the penalty. Plays it on to Navas. Navas swings it in. Almost reached De Bruyne. There was appeals for a handball in there. I think it was Mota who was back. The assistant on this near side, the goal line assistant, nor the referee, none of them responded in a positive way as far as City are concerned. Otamendi to Mangala and back to Joe Hart. And cheers there from the Paris Saint-Germain fans, hoping to put Hart off. I don't think he was at fault for the equalising goal.
No, he wasn't. Fernando was in 10 yards of space when he first received the ball. Nothing, could have easily played it one touch to Otamendi, back to Joe Hart, could have let it run across his body, open himself up.
Ball breaks to De Bruyne on the left hand side, in towards Aguero, easily read and intercepted by Thiago Silva. Good play with the captain. On it goes to the far side of the field, and it's Di Maria. Matuidi sprints towards the penalty area. Ibrahimovic hung back, and now he plays it back to Di Maria. Ibrahimovic again. They've got lots of players in attacking positions, Paris Saint-Germain. The Swede plays it to Di Maria. Di Maria swings in the cross towards Cavani. It hits a City player and ricochets on the far side of the field to Silva. Silva on towards Aguero. Thiago Silva's back there, and he gets the pass back to his goalkeeper Trapp, who allows it to run. He knows it's running away from his goal, and now he clears it. Di Maria, good play, back to Mota. Inside the last few seconds of the first half, we're going to have 1 minute of added time here on 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester. 1 goal each. Dramatic first half of football. Cavani, lovely touch. Di Maria, 35 yards out, runs forward. Di Maria plays it to Matuidi. Matuidi crosses, well away from Cavani and out of play for only a throw-in. That could easily have been 2-1.
It just needed to caress the ball into Cavani, who would have been an open goal. And he's had a cross like me. He's hit it out on the full, I think, on the far side of the pitch. That's really poor from Matuidi. Great opportunity, just had to roll the ball across the 6-yard box, and Cavani just had to tap it into an empty net. Joe Hart would have had absolutely no chance.
Well, it's been a dramatic first half. It hasn't been without fault. A lot of misplaced passes, to say the least. But you cannot lose sight of this game. 1 goal each, and that is the half-time whistle blown by the Serbian referee. Good half, bad half from a Manchester City perspective. What do you think, Danny Mills?
Started really well, positive, high intensity. A little bit concerned about City's left-hand side. David Silva is not a natural wide player, tucked in, and Aurier was getting down the right-hand side far too often. City on the counter-attack, brilliant finish from Kevin De Bruyne, absolutely magnificent, kept his composure, drilled it into the back of the net. But then a moment of madness from Fernando. No idea what he was thinking. His awareness of where he was, who was around him, was non-existent. His touch was poor, and after denying Zlatan a penalty, then a one-on-one situation, he gets the flukiest, sweatiest goal ever.
Never a dull minute in that first half. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Manchester City 1. No substitutions at half-time. The Paris Saint-Germain side remains goalkeeper Trapp, defence Aurier, Thiago Silva, David Luiz and Maxwell. In midfield, Rabiot, Mata and the excellent Matuidi. Then Cavani, Ibrahimovic and Di Maria. The Serbian referee blew his whistle, and then he decides that Aguero had moved across the line too quickly so he'll start the second half again. Manchester City's goalkeeper is Hart. He saved a penalty and then was part, even though only a minor part, of a catastrophic equaliser for Paris Saint-Germain. The defence is Sagna, Otamendi, Mangala and Clichy. Then we got the errant Fernando and Fernandinho. Then Navas and Silva generally wide, De Bruyne and Aguero through the middle. Here's Ibrahimovic, loses the ball. Fernandinho plays it swiftly forward to Aguero. Silva, Aguero again, onto the near side. Under hit that pass by Aguero, and Paris Saint-Germain take it up. The first half started in a similar way, with both sides attacking at every opportunity. Di Maria to Matuidi. Matuidi crosses into the penalty. Ibrahimovic heads it down unselfishly, looking for Cavani, but the flag was up for offside against the Swede.
It's been incredible intensity to this game. First half was absolutely magnificent. Just listening to Neil Lennon at half time, I think City also need to ride their luck. They are going to sit back, they are going to defend. Aguero is too isolated for me. He's been left on his own far too often. The midfield have got to move higher up the pitch, but you've got two sitting midfield players in Fernando and Fernandinho. They don't really want to condense the play, so it's left to Kevin De Bruyne to try and get in those holes. But the gap is too big between those deep midfielders and Aguero. They've got to push higher up the pitch, and I think PSG are going to create chances. It's just whether Manchester City can keep their concentration and keep them out. But I've watched the goal again, and we both did at half time. Fernando knows that Ibrahimovic is there.
He actually looks at him.
Joe Hart is pointing to tell him to play the ball to Otamendi. That makes it even worse.
And there was actually an ironic smile on the face of Joe Hart as he picked the ball in the net, as if I can't believe this has happened.
It was that nervous giggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Matuidi to the left side and Cavani. Di Maria's in a central position. Matuidi almost gets onto the of Uruguayan's pass forward. He brought down a City player. Is that Otamendi? And it's a yellow card for Matuidi, and more good news in terms of suspensions, because not only will David Luiz miss the second leg, so too will that brilliant Frenchman in midfield. Matuidi is out of the second leg.
I have to say, I think it's a poor decision from the referee. He's chasing him, he has a stride towards him, he clips Otamendi's heel. The faintest of touches, Laurent Bloke throws his arms in the air, and I'm not surprised. Referees have to remember, not every single contact is a foul, not every foul is a yellow card.
But the referee thought that was a foul and a yellow card. Matuidi, like David Luiz, will be suspended for the second leg of this Champions League quarter-final. Reminding you that in the other quarter-final first leg tonight, Wolfsburg were 2-0 up against Real Madrid at home. It's 1-1 here in Paris. You're listening to BBC Radio Manchester and 5 Live.
I just hope that Manchester City don't use all their luck up this evening. They've had a good slice of it so far, haven't they?
Well, it doesn't really matter too much if David Luiz gets himself sent off in the night. I wouldn't mind playing 10 men in the second half. You know what I mean? The referee's given a free kick for a foul on Ibrahimovic. Motta's having a go at the referee. He takes the free kick, plays it back to Thiago Silva, and now Thiago Silva moving towards the halfway line. Ibrahimovic is in a forward position for the moment. The ball's played to the right side, but that was careless from Moriet. He let the ball run out of play before he made contact with his right foot, and as a result it's a throw into Manchester City. Clichy to take it. In this very bright light green away strip for Manchester City. Paris Saint-Germain in a generally navy outfit with red flashes. It's hit high towards Ibrahimovic. Mangala trying to get the better of the Swede. Doesn't. Only plays the ball to Rabiot. And now it's with Maxwell on the far side of the field. On to Rabiot. Into Motta. Good play. Matuidi in towards Cavani. Cavani's unlucky. It hit the back of one of his heels. Half cleared by Manchester City. Picked up though again. And now the header by Cavani over the crossbar.
It was a difficult header for Cavani. Ball was driven in by Maxwell. Cavani just trying to steer it round the corner. Never likely to score from that position, but they'd be a little bit lucky and just sort of like deflect it over the top of Joe Hart's sort of outstretched arms, if anything. But again, more pressure from PSG.
Paris Saint-Germain, French champions, again. They're actually 25 points ahead of Monaco, who are in second place. So they can concentrate everything on their Champions League pursuit. Hart throws the ball out to Clichy. Clichy now has room to run over the halfway line. Chips it. It took a deflection, but it still got through to Silva, who couldn't control it. And it's cleared up here. That's a good ball to Di Maria. Di Maria, excellent pass into Cavani. Back to Di Maria on the right hand side. Maybe it was a little under hit. Di Maria did brilliantly. Held off 2 challenges. Crosses high, looking for Ibrahimovic in the penalty area. Cavani's there. The Swede takes the ball down on his chest. He's outside the penalty area now. Plays it back to Maxwell. Maxwell's going to be hustled, but isn't hustled successful enough, because he gets the ball back to David Luiz. Good little spell this for Paris Saint-Germain at the start of the second half. Aurier into Di Maria. And Di Maria, brilliant ball into Cavani. Cavani juggles it inside the penalty. Crosses deep. Ibrahimovic with a header. Hustled by Sagna. Hustled successfully. The ball dropped to Joe Hart.
Sagna did really well, because Ibrahimovic is very, very good at the back post. He's clever with his body. He moves into people, nudges people, and then takes a step away and tries to take it down on his chest a lot of the time. But that time Sagna stuck to his task. Very, very strong.
Fernando to Aguero. Wide to Navas on the far side of the field. Manchester City right. Navas level with the edge of the French penalty area. Taps it back to Sagna, the Frenchman. And now to Fernando. To Fernandinho. And Fernandinho plays it to Silva, who come into the centre of the Paris Saint-Germain half. Back to Fernandinho. Now it's with Clichy. De Bruyne. Excellent City possession. Silva's pass to De Bruyne. De Bruyne sees room to move forward, but it's cleared to safety by Thiago Silva. And now it's with Ibrahimovic, who plays it on to Di Maria. And Di Maria sprints forward. Cavani's in the attacking position. Di Maria holds it up. Ibrahimovic is inside the penalty area now, but Di Maria rather selfishly tried a shot. It's cleared by Manchester City, and now they can counter-attack. Aguero on the left side. De Bruyne in the centre. So too is Silva. The pass is the shorter one to David Silva. And now back to Fernando. On to Fernandinho. Chance for a shot, but it's well wide.
I think Pellegrini has got to make a tactical switch. City are getting caught out down this left-hand side. David Silva is not helping out Gaël Clichy at all, and that worries me. Clichy's going forward. If he gives the ball away, there's a huge hole. Di Maria is exploiting. Aurier is exploiting as well down this right-hand side. It's not David Silva's fault. He's not a left-sided midfield player.
Chip forward by Motta. Intercepted by Otamendi, and then there's a header back and almost fell to Aguero. Just bounced ahead of the Argentine through to trap the German goalkeeper. Now it's thrown out to David Luiz. He was booked in the first 15 seconds.
And he's not had to make a single tackle since. City have got to use that to their advantage. They've got to try and exploit him.
Rabiot to Ibrahimovic. On to Di Maria. Di Maria with Matuidi and Cavani available. It's played towards Cavani. Rebounds off a defender to Di Maria again. Now Maxwell plays it off the referee. Get out of the way, you Serbian twit. On it goes to the far side of the field. Matuidi's cross. High in there. Headed away by Mangala. Out of play.
City look very nervous when defending, don't they? Otamendi, company.
Ibrahimovic with the cross into the penalty area, and that was headed initially by Matuidi and then by Fernando, who's conceded a corner.
I hope this doesn't lead to a goal. That was an unnecessary header out for a corner from Fernando. Again, had time and space, could have easily headed it sideways and out for a throw-in.
Those who weren't listening earlier, unfortunately Fernando was guilty of a catastrophic mistake that led directly to the equaliser. Here's the corner for Paris Saint-Germain. Bunches inside the 6-yard box. It's still around there. Hooked high and away by Mangala. Silva with a header down. Hooked on by Sagna to Navas. Navas to the left side, and Fernandinho. City can counter-attack here. On it goes to De Bruyne. Silva's in support. It's played into Silva. Back to De Bruyne, edge of the penalty. But that pass just gave Thiago Silva enough light to get there, get the interception, and put it out of play for a throw-in.
Thiago Silva is unbelievably brilliant. Just goes about his business.
It's timing.
Quietly, confidently, unassuming. I think he's still probably the world's best centre-back at the moment.
Well, that's good work up following the throw-in. City had the ball inside the penalty area. It's with David Silva. The shot was rather under-hit and easily saved.
But at the other end, Mangala, Otamendi, when balls are coming into the box, they just look all over the place, don't they? There's no authority. How far is Vincent Kompany off?
Oh. Too far. He's been a loss throughout the season, you know. His fitness has been intermittent, and City have really missed their captain. Here's the Paris Saint-Germain captain, Thiago Silva, playing it to David Luiz. On the far side, still a few yards short of the halfway line. Chipping it straight onto the chest of Otamendi, who finds Fernando. And now Navas takes it up. Running it into Fernandinho, still inside the City half, to Silva. Silva caught in possession there. Then Silva works hard to get it back. Good firm challenge on Ibrahimovic, who's collapsed as if he's been knocked for six. The ball's put out of play. I'm not sure there's anything wrong with the Swede at all.
It was a decent challenge.
Nothing wrong with him.
By David Silva. Not the sort of thing you normally expect from him. Just comes in with a sliding tackle. Maybe just catches Zlatan on the toe. Nothing more than that. I think he was looking for a free kick, but certainly wasn't going to get one.
12 minutes gone in the second half. Here on 5 Live in BBC Radio Manchester. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Manchester City 1. It's still 2-0 to Wolfsburg in Germany. They're at home to Real Madrid. Throw in to Manchester City. On the far side, they're right in this second half. Almost in front of the City fans. Sagna takes it, squanders it. It's back with Thiago Silva. And now Motta, who's had a really good game in that midfield for the Frenchman. Motta on the halfway line, plays it to the left side to Maxwell. Back it goes to Matuidi. Matuidi again, on to Maxwell. And then Matuidi sprints forward, opening up a gap for Maxwell to run into. It's played to Cavani into the penalty area. Cavani now. Players are facing him, at least forcing him to play it wide rather than deeper into the penalty area, and Motta wins a throw-in.
City have got to remain so focused, 100% concentration for the duration of this match. One little slip up could cost them dear. 1-1 is a great result. 2-1 isn't disastrous, but after the start that they made, getting their noses in front, they'll be very, very disappointed if they lose this game now.
13 minutes gone in the second half. 1-1. Motta trundles forward, gives it to Ibrahimovic. On it goes to Maxwell. Maxwell's early cross. Oh goodness, that was almost deflected into the net for an own goal. It's only a corner, thank goodness.
It's another huge slice of luck. Ibrahimovic plays the ball out wide. The cross is fizzed in. Otamendi misses it. I think he puts Mangala off. It just hits his shin. He's got no idea where it's going, and it goes about 2 feet past the post.
Di Maria's corner from the left-hand side in front of the Manchester City fan. Played into Cavani. How hard saved it, and then it's tapped in by Rabiot. Hard saved it, but he can only push it into the path of the former Manchester City youngster, and Paris Saint-Germain lead by 2-1.
I think it was Rabiot that scored here a couple of seasons ago against Chelsea to finish them off. Set piece, he's left completely unmarked at the far post. Cavani's allowed to get the first header, pretty much unchallenged. Ibrahimovic was spare. Fernandinho leaves his man, gets caught up, ball watching, and then Rabiot at the far post has the simplest of tap-ins. Concentration, that's all it is. Fernando not concentrating on the edge of the box. Fernandinho not doing his job from a set piece. Mark your man until the ball is gone.
Defensive problems for Manchester City. sadly nothing new, and they're 2-1 down now. And here's the goal scorer, Rabiot into Motta, and Motta then foul tackle by Fernandinho. It's a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. Now even 2-1 is not a catastrophic scoreline, but 3-1 is see more chances for the Frenchman.
3-1 is going to be very, very difficult if they go on and score another goal. That will make it terribly hard.
Motta to Cavani, brilliant back heel by Cavani towards Maxwell on the far side. Half cleared though by Manchester City. Motta to Rabiot. Motta looks imperious there, never hurried in midfield. But City have the ball, and it's with Clichy running away. Clichy gets the ball back off Thiago Silva, crosses into the defender. David Silva with a chance. He hits it left-footed, hits the defender, rebounds. Here's De Bruyne chipping it into the penalty area again, but ahead of his colleagues and through the goalkeeper trap.
City haven't really been able to test trap enough, have they? I think, what are we, still one shot on target? And that obviously ended up in the back of the net. They've got to get further up the pitch, give De Bruyne, Aguero more support, more of an opportunity to get in the game.
Ibrahimovic forward to Matuidi, back to Ibrahimovic has Maxwell to his left, and he guides the ball towards the Brazilian left back. First time cross, left footed deep to the far post, and that's a good header away by Mangala, and I think it's out of play for nothing worse than a throw in. It is.
Well, Mangala just did enough, but again sandwiched between three Paris Saint-Germain players. City somehow have got to sort that defence out. They've got to get a little bit of composure and authority in there.
There's the throw-in taken. Di Maria's cross towards the far post, and it's headed back with the crossbar. Cavani's there. His shot bounces down and bounces over the crossbar. It was the header by Ibrahimovic that almost made it 3-1.
Well, sometimes you get lucky and you keep getting lucky, and that's Manchester City at the moment. Good chance. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is very, very clever. He pulls off to the far post. He's putting himself on Sagna. He's probably the weakest in the air in that position compared to Mangala and Otamendi, and he's just trying to get isolated one-on-one in that situation. It's a good tussle. Guided his header back goalwards. Unfortunately, Joe Hart saw it hit the bar and bounce out.
I wonder what Pep Guardiola is thinking tonight. I mean, his team beat his current team, Bayern Munich.
He's thinking, I need a new left back, two new centre backs, probably a right back, a holding midfield player, and maybe an attacking midfield player to go alongside De Bruyne and Aguero. He's thinking Hart, Aguero, De Bruyne,
Silva.
I'm not sure. Not sure about Silva even, unless he plays him in a slightly different position.
Right, Manchester City 2-1 down now, having had a brief lead at 1-0. And that's a good ball into the edge of the penalty area. Back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne, who scored the only City goal. Back heels the ball. Far too clever by Hart. Intercepted by Paris Saint-Germain. And now they can counter-attack. And it's played by Rabiot, scorer of their second goal, to Aurier. On to Di Maria. Di Maria's had a really bright second half. Di Maria moving in field. Beats two Manchester City players. The second of them, Silva, was held off by Fernandinho, fouled by Fernandinho. It's a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain.
Can't get away with shoulder charges like that, especially in European football.
Free kick hasn't yet been taken. We've played 19 minutes of the second half, and the time that remains...
Possession, sorry Alan, possession, I'm not one for stats. Possession at the moment, 66% to Paris Saint-Germain.
Sagna clears, and then the header down by Rabiot to Motta. Motta back to David Luiz. David Luiz to the captain Thiago Silva. All the noise is coming from the Parisian supporters. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester. For a while in the first half it was really good, now it's not so clever. Matuidi, who's been superb the whole game, he'll miss the second leg, as will David Luiz, suspended. Rabiot swings across into the City penalty area, but it runs harmlessly left of it to Clichy, and Clichy almost conceded possession there, and they're hustling him, and they hustled successfully and encouraged a mistake by the left full-back.
But they lose Matuidi, but is Vidal likely to be fit for the second leg, Alan?
Sorry, say again?
Is Vidal likely to be fit for the second leg?
I don't know. he'll be that much nearer it. Here's Matuidi to Motta, and Motta to Maxwell on the far side of the field. And just for the moment, Paris Saint-Germain just happy to exude superiority in terms of passing the ball amongst themselves, knowing that they also carry a goal threat.
Sorry, not Vidal, Verratti, sorry.
Verratti is at Matuidi, just short of the halfway line. On to Cavani, Matuidi again, and now Motta. Matuidi still runs forward, the ball goes to Maxwell, the left back, and now it's with David Luiz. And competing ends of the ground here for noise. They're all Paris Saint-Germain fans, but the end of the right and the end of the left, they don't bounce up and down in unison, they bounce up and down in competition to each other. Here's Rabiot to David Luiz, and Manchester City don't seem to have touched the ball for quite a while now. 25 minutes left for play. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Manchester City 1. Motta plays it towards our side of the field. That's the Paris Saint-Germain right in the second half. It's with Aurier, the right fullback, into Di Maria, back to Aurier, and Clichy. Initially I thought he'd made a mistake and wasn't going to clear it, but he keeps his head, keeps the ball, and should clear it. No, he's given it away to Ibrahimovic towards the penalty area, onto Di Maria. Di Maria crosses first time. Well, it may have hit an arm, but there can't be anything deliberate about that, despite the howl for a penalty kick.
Ibrahimovic was pointing to the fifth official, the one behind the goal line, and he pointed to his chest.
Here's Navas forward now into the Paris Saint-Germain penalty area, but the shot was wide. Not carrying enough threat now, Manchester City.
Navas has just toe punted that, I think. No, it's not handball, just seen the replay. Hits his chest. Fifth official was clearly right, made a decent decision. But Navas at the other end was just panicked effectively, and ended up hitting the ball off his little toe.
Worried about the casual play of Clichy at left back there, as was Pellegrini, who after the Navas shot went behind, came out and bellowed into the ear of Clichy.
Clichy made a mistake on that occasion, but he needs some help down this left hand side. David Silva, meant to be playing out on the left hand side, is now over on the right. He's the other side of Fernandinho and Fernando. You know, Clichy is getting done 2-on-1. He's got Di Maria to pick up, and he's got Aurier coming forward from right back as well to deal with.
Don't forget, tomorrow night from 7 o'clock, 5 Live comes from Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund play Liverpool in the first leg of the Europa League quarter-final. We'll also have Masters coverage initially on 5 Live Sports Extra. It's the first of 4 days of Masters coverage across 5 Live and Sports Extra. And before either of those events, the Grand National meeting starts at Aintree, and we'll have full coverage on the network of that. The Grand National, of course, on Saturday. We're concentrating on the Champions League tonight. There is further news from Wolfsburg. Real Madrid I'm reading that scoreline wrong. I thought Wolfsburg conceded a goal, but they're still 2-0 up. False alert from Green the Idiot. Now Manchester City in the Paris Saint-Germain half with De Bruyne. Now to Aguero back to Fernandinho almost stepped on the ball, plays it to the left side to Clichy. 21 minutes to go. City trail 2-1. What change would you make? Fabian Delph is available, so too of course is Wilfred Boney.
Well, the City subs have just stood on the touchline down in the corner flag.
Kollarov's there
stretching, no runs, doing nothing. The PSG players are warming up quite vigorously.
De Bruyne inside right position, good pass to Silva just outside the penalty area. Silva's a little sloppy with the attempted pass to Aguero, gets the ball back, and now it's wide on the left hand side with Clichy back now to Fernandinho. City are slower in possession than Paris Saint-Germain are, unfortunately true. Fernandinho back to Mangala to Otamendi, and Otamendi plays it towards the right side but doesn't find a colleague, headed away by Maxwell, knocked back towards Navas for Manchester City, but that's good work by Motta, and now it's with Cavani. Look how deep in his own half Cavani is. And now it's cleared to Ibrahimovic, almost on the halfway line. Matuidi tussling for possession, loses that tussle. Fernando plays it on. Aguero now to the right side. Navas is there. Fernando's inside the penalty area. The cross isn't good enough, but at least it wins a corner.
I'm really surprised that City players are not warming up with any intensity whatsoever. It doesn't look like Pellegrini's got any intention of making a change.
Well, it'll be in the last 20 minutes if he does make a change. Meantime, his team over corner from the right hand side, played in towards the near post, firm header away by Ibrahimovic, always very good in those defensive positions. That's Silva to Navas, and Navas plays it back into the centre circle to Clichy to Fernandinho, back towards Clichy. Paris Saint-Germain happy to sit in a defensive mode at the moment. 2-1 they lead in Paris in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final. Silva looks to Fernandinho, but he's robbed by the other number 25. Rabiot scored the second goal for the French champions. On to Di Maria, and Di Maria, I thought he had lost possession, but he hasn't. Oh, now he has. Silva takes it up. Silva to De Bruyne. Navas to his right. De Bruyne a few yards outside the penalty area. On to Navas. Sagna with the overlapping run. Ball played to Sagna. Sagna's low crossed in. Might fall. There's a chance. It's 2-2. The ball breaks into the net, and Fernandinho has got the equaliser courtesy of a deflection. What a break for Manchester City, and we'll take it.
Incredible luck Manchester City, you have to say, have had this evening, but you need it sometimes to win a competition, to get through. You've got to take that luck, and this time City, I think probably with only their second shot on target. There's a couple of deflections. In the end it bounced off Thiago Silva's knee, came back to Fernandinho, who hit it against Oreo, who was already lying on the floor. I think it then hits Thiago Silva on the backside and spins into the open net. Laurent Blanc can't believe his luck.
His bad luck on that occasion, but we'll take it. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Manchester City 2, here on 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester.
I think there is going to be a change from City now. Looks like it's Fabian Delph, is it?
Well, Delph had been warming up for a considerable time. Who does he come on for? This is the interesting thing. Do you withdraw, quote, an attacking player? Do you withdraw, say, a Navas?
I'd take David Silva off. You know, and I'd put Fabian Delph more on this left-hand side. Nothing against David Silva, but City now have got to defend much, much better. Paris
for the most part now deflated. 2-2 when they seemed in utter control of this quarter-final. Mangala plays the ball to Fernando, back to Mangala, and Mangala to the left side, and Clichy looking for Aguero. Thiago Silva is there, and good defensive work. He watched the flight of the ball, he knew where Aguero was, and he just let the high ball clear his midriff and back to the goalkeeper. Now it's with Thiago Silva again. Now Rabiot to David Luiz. You couldn't have forecast the pattern this game has taken, David. Just weird.
Well, I think we talked, and we did a piece earlier with Radio Manchester, said it could quite easily be, 2-2, 3-3, high scoring. David Luiz got mistakes in Manchester City. We said with no chance keeping a clean sheet, and we've been proven right. But if it carries on like this, it's setting up a fantastic second leg for next week, isn't it?
And we'll be bringing you that commentary on 5 Live. Now Delph is receiving his final instruction. It's De Bruyne, I think, he's coming off. De Bruyne. Well, of course, he's just coming back to fitness. Play continues.
He'll put David Silva just behind Aguero, I would assume, and bring Delph onto this left-hand side.
Now, that wasn't the greatest of clearances from Trapp, but he does get it back from Maxwell. No error the way Manchester City committed an error with 4 minutes left in the first half that led to the equaliser from Ibrahimovic. It's 2-2. Here is Ibrahimovic. His pass to Di Maria, under hit, intercepted by Clichy, who finds Silva onto Clichy, into De Bruyne. De Bruyne now looking for Aguero. David Silva dives forward, and he deliberately dived across Aguero's feet as well. If Aguero had gone down there, it would have been very interesting for the referee.
And that's the only fault of Sergio Aguero that I can find is he's too honest, and he stays on his feet too often when he has the opportunity to go down and make the referee make a decision. All the other players, Suarez, Messi, Neymar, Ibrahimovic, they go down when they have the opportunity, and they're not going to get the ball the other side.
Paris Saint-Germain 2, Manchester City 2, and we've got a quarter of an hour left. Delph still to make his entry. Well, he's obviously concerned about De Bruyne's state of health, so to speak. He's just coming back after injury. Doesn't want to push him too much. He'll be a key player next week in the second leg. Here's Matuidi, who won't be appearing in the second leg. He'll be suspended. On to Ibrahimovic. Mangala comes across. Ibrahimovic in now to Matuidi. Matuidi crosses into the penalty area. Otamendi with an awkward header clear, but at least gets it towards the touchline. We're going to have 2 Paris Saint-Germain changes coming up. Van der Waal will be one of them, and Lucas another one. Lucas was a rather surprising absentee from the starting lineup. That allowed Cavani to play, and Cavani has played very well, but maybe he's one of those who are going to be pulled off by Laurent Blanc. We've got to find out soon enough when the ball goes out of play.
Rabiot's going to be one of them. You can see number 25 coming off.
Yeah, Lucas is coming on for Rabiot. And now we've got to hold up in play, and here are the changes.
Oh, this is good. We've got 3 substitute boards.
Yeah, I love this. Do I not? Anyway, De Bruyne is the first change, replaced by Fabien Delph. Rabiot comes off. Lucas comes on in his place. Well, Rabiot's certainly given the Paris fans exactly what they wanted. And now the final change, Van der Waal is on for Aurier. Okay, we've got that. And we've got 13 minutes to go here on 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester. Now, could they conjure up a third goal, Manchester City? Would they be worth a third goal, Danny?
Honestly, no. You can't say they would deserve it, but that happens in football sometimes. You've got to ride your luck. You've got to make the most of it, when it comes along. They have been fortunate, Zlatan missed a one-on-one, missed a penalty, hit the crossbar. There's been other opportunities as well. That you could argue that Ibrahimovic's goal was a little bit fortunate, but it was poor play from Fernandinho. Manchester City's goal was fortunate. 2 deflections at least. 3 deflections maybe in the build-up as well to that. But that's life sometimes. When it's there, you've got to take it. City have given themselves a fantastic chance.
The ball's out of play. It's going to be a throw into Manchester City. Don't forget that the Football Social will be coming up at the conclusion of the commentary. 0500 909 693. What sort of stuff are you going to be talking about, Danny?
Well, is 2 away goals enough for Manchester City? Personally, I can't see them keeping a clean sheet, even back at home at the Etihad. How many of City's players will Pep Guardiola have in his starting 11 come August? Not sure there'll be too many.
Silva wins. I'm just saying, Silva wins the ball, importantly, but the referee decides it's a foul on Motta. I think he took the ball. Anyway, the referee makes the decision. Free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. 11 minutes to go. On the far side of the field, it's Maxwell. And he's cut infield to Di Maria. Di Maria spinning forward inside left position. Finds Maxwell, there's the cross, and it's a defensive header that puts the ball behind for the corner. Di Maria is going to take it in front of the City fans, or near enough to them. I think that's why there are quite a few boos. Di Maria's had a decent game. From the left, corner played in left-footed. David Luiz thought he got a free header there. He didn't, and it's cleared partly cleared initially, but now Navas can bring it further to safety. Finds Aguero on the halfway line. Into Navas. Now Delph is running forward. The ball might break to Fabian Delph. No, Matuidi's tracking back there, covering, and he finds Thiago Silva. Motta. Matuidi again. To the far side, and Di Maria. That's the Paris Saint-Germain left, and now it's back with Maxwell inside the final 10 minutes of the game.
I don't want it to end, Alan.
No.
There aren't too many matches that I go to these days.
So many incidents.
And think, actually, I want this to carry on all night long.
Well, I was at Old Trafford on Sunday, and I've got to say, it was a really poor game. There weren't many incidents, and therefore it wasn't the most pleasurable game to commentate on, but this has been non-stop in terms of its drama. Not all of it's been clever, Danny. We've had some bad mistakes, Fernando's in particular, but
it's been intense, it's been exciting, hasn't it?
That's a good run forward by Lucas, impeded by a foul challenge, and it's a free kick. Ibrahimovic takes it, plays it to Motta in the centre of the Manchester City half, onto Di Maria, onto Maxwell on the far side, back to Di Maria. He swings in the cross high towards Cavani, punched away by Hart, but Cavani was offside, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. You take 2-2.
Well, I said before the game, a 2-1 defeat wouldn't be a bad result for Manchester City. A draw and a score draw would be magnificent. 2 away goals. Is it enough? I put a decent amount of money on PSG scoring at the Etihad. I suppose 1-1 would be enough for City. 2-2, go to penalties. Joe Hart's brilliant at penalties. Caballero's brilliant at penalties. But, obviously the lines are open. 0500 909 693 or at 5Live Sport. Is 2 goals enough for City, even away from home, with the way that they defend? How are they going to stop PSG scoring in the second leg? How many of City's players will be playing for Pep Guardiola come August? I don't think there'll be too many.
I'm sure there'll be drama plenty tomorrow night in Dortmund. 5Live's coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Mangala has just been yellow carded. That was for a challenge on Matuidi.
It was a good job it was him and not Otamendi. Otamendi gets booked, he's out of the next leg, and well, you'd have to bring Di Michaelis in. That would be a worry.
Free kick's already taken. Here's Maxwell. Maxwell crosses from the left hand side. Mangala with a header away, and further cleared by Fernando, bouncing over the halfway line, surely bouncing out of play. It does, and it's going to be a throw into Paris Saint-Germain. We've got 7 and a bit minutes to go.
That equaliser just seems to have taken the wind out of PSG's sails a little bit, isn't it?
Before it, I thought they're bound to score at least one more goal. The way they were playing, the comfort with which they were playing, the threat with which they were playing, but it's certainly diminished since Manchester City's equaliser.
Well, sometimes you're better to be lucky than be good, and I think that's certainly been Manchester City this evening.
Stand by, Matuidi finds Ibrahimovic, his pass to Cavani doesn't succeed, and Manchester City counter-attack here. Fernandinho inside the centre circle, on to Delph. Fernandinho hopes to get the return pass, but it goes behind him to Silva. Now it's wide to the left in Clichy. Silva moves forward, takes the pass from Delph, back to Delph. Delph is falling over, and the referee plays good advantage. There was a foul on Delph, but Manchester City had possession. Sanya to Navas, and Navas cutting in from the right hand side. Aguero's ahead of him. Navas still has the ball to the right of the penalty area now. He's won a corner. Good work. Oh no, it's not, it's a goal kick. It's from our distance, it looked like a corner, but the assistant presumably got that right. I'm not sure.
Well, I tell you what, he's one player that won't be playing under Pep Guardiola.
Here's Silva intercepting a Paris Saint-Germain pass, and now Navas to Silva again. 2-2, remember, on towards Aguero. The pass slightly under hit, intercepted by David Luiz and cleared to Motta. And there's a rolling challenge. Is that another booking? I hope not. Yeah, it's a booking for Navas. Well, so he's that's the 4th yellow card that City have collected tonight, but the only player who'd been threatened with suspension at the start of the game was Otamendi.
Well, another question for the callers, 0500 909 693. Is it possible for Manchester City to win this competition when they defend like this? I'm not sure. Let's see what Man City fans have to say.
Fernandinho for Manchester City, ahead of the centre circle. Things have slowed down substantially. 5 minutes to go here on 5 Live and BBC Radio Manchester. The pass towards Aguero, not firmly struck enough. Here's Matuidi to Ibrahimovic, just in front of the centre circle. Now to Motta, and Motta to the right side, and Van der Vaal. Van der Vaal on to Lucas Moura, and back to Di Maria. Di Maria tries to swing it in the direction of Lucas Moura. It hit a City player, and City have the ball back. It's with Silva. Aguero running through the middle. Silva keeps the ball. Now he plays it towards Aguero. David Luiz, of all people, gets there, hooks it away to safety, and I think he may have injured himself in the process. He has injured his ankle.
Well, it's not a huge problem for PSG. Only a few minutes left. 4 minutes of normal time in this game, and of course he's going to be out of the second leg anyhow. He's just overstretched a little bit, but that's his problem, David Luiz. You know, positionally at times he's all over the shop, and he has to make those last-ditch tackles, last-ditch clearances, which sometimes obviously means he's going to get them wrong.
If he hadn't made it, Aguero was through. 3.5 minutes to go. David Luiz is hobbling for sympathy inside the penalty area as Manchester City take the throw in. It's back now to Sagna, and Sagna, don't trip on the ball, son, please don't. Sagna hits it back to Otamendi, and Otamendi on to Mangala. Mangala plays it into the centre circle, takes the return pass. Oh, and then he gives it away. Goodness. And then City are lucky to get it back of all people from Matuidi, who then trying to reclaim possession, fouls Fernandinho. It's a free kick to City. And it's well taken. It's played to David Silva. David Silva now sprinting towards the penalty to Navas. Navas is there. Aguero's hanging back. Back to Aguero. Edge of the penalty onto his right foot. His shot was blocked by Motta and rebounds to the far side of the field. I think it's out of play. Yes, it is. And it's going to be a throw into Manchester City.
Don't think Aguero's had one chance, has he? All evening long. He's so isolated up front. Wilfred Bronny is now coming on for David Silva. I just think in the home leg, City have got to get more support up alongside Sergio Aguero. Kevin De Bruyne is clearly the missing link, or seems to be the missing link that City have missed. You know, is that one of the reasons why they haven't challenged for the Premier League title this season? No, Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is an exceptional player. Truly is outstanding. He's been involved in six goals in his last 7 games in all competitions. Absolutely vital. Just hope that he is 100% fit for that next leg.
I think Paris Saint-Germain were interested in buying him, but he chose Manchester City, thankfully. Now Silva's off, Boney's on. That substitution took a little while, rather more than the 30 seconds that will be allocated in terms of added time. We're 2 minutes away from added time, but Paris Saint-Germain 2, Manchester City 2. City took the lead, Paris Saint-Germain equalised, then they went in front, and then City equalised. And 2-2 we definitely have settled for before the game kicked off. Matuidi, now it's into Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic almost caught in possession, but still finds Thiago Silva. To Di Maria, who's back on the halfway line. Thiago Silva once more. Now Van der Vaal. Thiago Silva. And Thiago Silva, surrounded by City players, lost the ball and then aggressively won it back by not a foul challenge according to the referee. Fernandinho might disagree. Paris Saint-Germain have it with Motta inside the centre circle, one of their best players on the night in my view. Now Di Maria on to Lucas Moura. Ibrahimovic. Di Maria tries to play the cross in, checks it down to Matuidi. He doesn't find Lucas Moura, and it's cleared by Manchester City. Here's Boney. First touch on a substitute to concede possession to the other number 14, the excellent Matuidi. Into Motta, onto Di Maria. Inside the 90th minute of the game, added time to come. That was a foul tackle by Delph. The referee's not rushing across. There's only a free kick. It's not going to be a yellow card. 3 minutes of added time. We're not quite into it, but we will be as soon as this free kick is struck. Now come on, City. It's been a funny old night, but 2-2 is a good scoreline to take back to the Etihad next Tuesday evening. Di Maria to take the free kick for Paris Saint-Germain from their right hand side, played in left footed, hooked into the penalty area, good header away by Otamendi. Matuidi meets it, Sagna's there, Sagna clears from his fellow Frenchman at the concession of a throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area. And Thiago Silva, who'd come up for that corner, he was shaping as if to take the throw-in. He's not now, he's leaving it to Maxwell. Maxwell throws it into Motta. Motta chips it. Lucas Moura shoots, and that was always going over wide as well. Goal kick to Manchester City, and we've only got a couple of minutes of added time remaining. Danny Mills.
Well, I'm not a huge one for stats, but this has come from UEFA. Teams who draw the first leg 2-2 away from home in UEFA club competitions, 80% of the time go on to go through the tie. That's 220 times out of 277 that's happened. So the odds favour Manchester City in the second leg.
Kollarov's about to come on for Manchester City as an added time substitute. Meantime, play continues. Paris Saint-Germain in possession. Matuidi in the far side of the field, looking for Maxwell. Doesn't find Maxwell. It's cleared out of play by Manchester City. Throw in to Paris Saint-Germain. 90 seconds to go, and it's Aguero who's going to be replaced. Aguero's given everything, hasn't he? But funnily enough, so much of his running has just been unselfish. You know, he hasn't been on the end of chances. Nothing provided for him.
City haven't created anything for him. They've left him far too isolated at times. They'll have to change that in the second leg. Okay, 2-2. If it's 0-0, then of course City will go through. Chances of it being 0-0 in the second leg? Slim to none, I'd say.
I wouldn't bet on it. Well, the referee can't allow the throw-in to be taken because Aguero's still not off the pitch. He did take an awfully long while to leave the arena. Anyway, Kollarov's on, and obviously an added defender. Now the throw-in is taken by Paris Saint-Germain. Strictly speaking, 30 seconds of added time remaining, but I'm sure more will be added on. Can Manchester City take the ball into a dangerous position in the opposition half? They still have a chance of doing this. Here's Fernandinho. Bony to his right, Delph to his left. Kolarov in support, so the ball's likely to go to the left side. It goes to Delph. Bony's isolated inside the D of the penalty area. The ball's still down the left side for Manchester City. Now they play it back into a defensive position, and Clichy hits it back to his goalkeeper Joe Hart.
Here's one for you, Alan, then, and for the callers, 0500 999 693. Who, out of the team that finishes for Manchester City, will be starting in August under Pep Guardiola? I'm going one.
Yeah, wow. Joe Hart.
Yes.
Yeah. There's an argument that can be made for that. But, you know, is it a completely rebuilt job? Is it necessary?
If you want a challenge for the Premier League and you want a challenge for the Champions League, then yes.
We're into the fourth added minute. Free kick to Manchester City, and there's the final whistle as Joe Hart smacks it into the safety of the French half. 2-2. Good job.
Well, I said
however they got there.
It doesn't matter how, but they did. You know, they rode their luck at times, several occasions, but that doesn't matter. You know, 2-2 away from home is a magnificent result for Manchester City. All of us, in our little predictor before the game, had PSG winning. So, you know, they were the favourites. We said that losing 2-1 would be an okay result for City. A draw would be brilliant, and that's what they've got. And they now have a real opportunity in the second leg at home at the Etihad.
Hopefully, and you'll hear it on 5 Live without question. Final score here in the Parc des Princes: Paris Saint-Germain 2, Manchester City 2.